Hello, welcome back to part 3 of the procedural, I haven't given it a title, procedural tutorial, I suppose, procedural shader tutorial. So we got the cliff, we got the ground, it looks a bit weird at the moment, but we're going to fix that by adding some grass. So if you shift right click, let me just make sure this is on, otherwise I can't see it. If you shift right click, you move the 3D cursor, and then whatever you create is going to be created there. So let's make the grass. Shift+A, mesh plane, RX90, rotate it on the x-axis. Let's move it up. We don't need to be in render shading mode, and the scale we'll worry about in a bit. So all we're going to do with this, I've just pressed 1, let's get out of the way, to go into front view, and press tab, vertex, grab them, top two, GZ. Oh, hang on, press O first, because if you've still got proportional editing on, it's going to put all the points. GZ. Let's make it long, like grass long. Again, where either I'm just GZing. Imagine grass was that big. Honey, I shrunk the kids. And then we got to add some subdivisions. Only 3, so I've wrote Control R, then rolled my mouse wheel, so I've got it's cut it up into 4 parts. Left click, right click sets it, and grab these 2 at the top. Press O for proportional. And then when you press S, you're probably gonna have to bring the circle in with your mouse wheel. SX, so we're just doing it on the x-axis, and we're just making a bit of a tip to the grass. Let's have a look. Does that look weird? Really weird. So we just need to SX these guys as well. I'm going to bring that wheel down. Right, I've messed it up a bit. SX, I'm just trying to make it a bit more grass shaped. There we go. That's alright, isn't it? Okay. Now, press 7 to go into top view, and I'm just going to press G and move this over. Now we can't see anything at the moment, and this is why I always like to have another window so that I can do the select things. So I'm going to select the top and then just G, move them somewhere over there. Grab the next ones, move them somewhere. Grab the next ones, move them somewhere. And then grab them and move them there. And that is the first one. And if you press tab, we're going to copy that with Shift+D. We can't Alt+D because we're going to manipulate it. Then just rotate it a bit, and then start moving a bunch of points again, just in a different fashion. So you're going to go over there. These guys are going to bend a bit this time. So there, that'll do. All right. I mean, you can actually, I'm going to turn off orthographic for this. Press O or select that button, just because I don't want it affecting all the other blades. Okay, and Shift+D, rotate. If you're in this view, just press RZ, and it will rotate it on the Z axis, which is what we want. And then I'm going to bring that down here, and we're going to do this a few times, until we've got a few varying shapes. And then we're just going to duplicate them all over the place. Alright, I think have I got many bendy ones? That's quite bendy. That's probably too bendy. Okay, bear in mind these are going to be tiny, so the fact they're very jagged is not going to make much difference. G, 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 G. That's the key I'm pressing, I'm not just saying G. One more. Tab. Let's make it do the hula. Okay, that's probably maybe a little bit too dodgy. Okay. Press 7, we're going to top mode, and then just select select one, Shift+D to copy it, rotate it a bit, and just start doing this with a bunch of them. and then we'll have a clump, but we're gonna make the clump bigger. But it's good to just rotate these just to get some randomization to our grass blades. Rotate, maybe scale it a bit as well, scale a few of them different, you know, just as long as they're random. Scale it up, let's have a look, and then press 1, because we need these to all pretty much be at the same origin for when we attach it to a landscape, because if it's not, it'll be all over the place. There it goes, got to come up 2, and then we can copy all of them. Press 7, Shift+D again, move it about, rotate it, Shift+D, move it about, rotate it, Shift+D, move it about, rotate it, and that there is our grass clump. So what we want to do now is select all of them, not the sun. Why are you select? I'm clearly not selecting the sun. Why is it doing that? So select them. If you end up selecting the sun, Control select, and then press Control J, because we want all of these to be in the same group. Why? I'm selecting something else. I cannot fathom that. I'm clearly not selecting the sun. Control J. There we go. If you've got other things selected that is not a mesh, Control J will not work. So you just need to be clear that you've got the right things. And what we want to do, press 1, and then Shift right click to put the, in fact, just above the bottom, so there's a little bit underneath, maybe about there, and then go to Object, Set Origin, Origin to 3D Cursor, because whatever surface it will sit on, the floor will be here, so these bits will be underneath the floor, so we won't see them growing out. Now let's go back to camera view and just see how massive. So we've got to scale it right down. I'm going to have my top view up here a second, just so I can see where its position is. So yeah, way too big. Scale it down. How big is it when it's close to camera? Let's bring it closer to the camera, just so we can see how big it would be. A little bit smaller than that. Okay. Alright. And let's just move it out of the scene, because otherwise it's going to render. And for the grass, we just need to add, for this, simply a bit of green. And you can do it here. Surface, colour, bit darker, bit greener. But I like a bit of yellow in my grass. And roughness, specular, not that important really for this. So we've given it colour. Now select the landscape. Thankfully it's only in the area we've picked, and then here under the particle settings, click the plus. We need to call the grass something. Select the grass, call it grass clump. 8 minutes. Perfect. Select the landscape, click the particle settings, click the plus icon, and just double click, or just go in there, grass. You don't have to name it. And then you want to click hair, and then we should see this happen. And it's very high, so not even 1. Well, I mean, it's going to depend on the scale of the grass. Okay, so just for now we'll put 1000, and then you want to click advanced, click rotation, brush down here, and then random phase put 0.4, and we'll check what's going on with which way it's facing. And then under render, render, we want to render as, we want an object, and then here instance object will be grass clump. And now it's probably arrived, but really small and not at all looking like a grass clump. I think something's going wrong with Blender here. Bear with me, I might have to come back to this. Something's not right. So all I did was up the hair length to 20 meters, and now we can crank up the amount to, I don't know, 20,000. That looks kind of grassy. And then let's just check if we go into viewport render. It's way too high, 15. Because we still want to see the rocks underneath. 15, 10. 5. We might have to increase the displacement underneath, so let's just select yes, so we just need to maybe bump this up to 0.5. Let's see what that does. We might need to bring the scale down of the Voronoi. Scale up, sorry, let's go 4. Should get much smaller. No, that's too much. Let's try 2.3. And now, hang on. So we clearly need more grass, so I'm going to go back to the particle and put 40,000. See what that does. Okay. And scale, we need to have some randomization in the scale. And where would I find the scale? Under hair shape? No. Object, scale. It's there under render. So scale randomness we'll put to 0.5. And that should make it look a bit more random. Yes, yes. Okay, we do need to make the hair a bit taller, so let's put that up to 10. Maybe make the scale of the grass a bit bigger, 0.5. I want it at 1. I want it to be 1 to 1. Yeah, no I don't. No I don't. Scale 0.6. Still way too. What was it on? 0.4. Oh, 13 minutes. No, it's fine. 0.4. Scale 0.2. I'm sure it was on 0.5 when I first picked it. Yeah, okay. Alright, well anyway, I know it's been 13 minutes, but that's the grass. I might even just change the colour of the grass clump to be a little bit more yellow by going there. Yeah, okay. So there we are. We've now got the cliff, the rock or the rocky bit, the grass. We're going to use a bit of we're just going to use this material to put in a few boulders. I might very quickly just make that a little bit more random. Randomize phase 0.6 and randomize scale 0.7. Yeah, that's better. Okay. So, okay, there we go. We got the grass, we got the rocks. Let's move on to part 4. Until then, farewell.